Okay, it says going live, and you are live. What is going on, everybody? RogersBase here with my live reaction and review for One Piece manga chapter 1079. I already know this is going to be a good one because the title of this chapter is The Emperor's Crew, the Red-Haired Pirates. So if this is a Shanks chapter, it's all I need to know. Literally all I need to know. Now, thankfully, this week, I was in Las Vegas. Most of you know this already. So I was logged out of social media, didn't see anything. I was busy watching Mean Girls and playing video games and things. So I'm good. I'm unspoiled on this. Thankfully, I'm just glad it's a Shanks chapter. Let's go. And looking at the first thing in this, it says here, reader request, Luffy watering a lion by mistake instead of a sunflower by Himawaria from Tokyo. So that says to me, we are done now with the whole Neo, Mads, Caesar Clown judge thing, which is really cool. So we are going to be moving on to another cover story. Please, I'm hoping and praying, Oda, I want that Impel Down 2.0 breakout with Cross Guild and Doflamingo, please. That is what I would like. But whatever you're going to give me is going to be fine. But I think an Impel Down breakout as the next cover story would be kind of cool. All right, chapter 1079, The Emperor's Crew, the Red-Haired Pirates. Let's do this. All right. Hours earlier, picking things where we left off with York and the flashback. All right. The problem is the world government isn't just erasing the Stella. They decided to erase me too. Well, I've got a plan of my own then. First, I want you all to go around and get rid of all the obstacles for me. Now that the Frontier Dome is closed, go ahead and kill everyone, except for me, the Stella, and the people underground. All right, understood. Okay, so this is all of this. We're seeing how this was set up. Okay, now when you start causing a ruckus, they're going to be looking for the culprit, wondering who gave you orders. I don't want them to figure out it's me, because I'm not strong enough to beat the others. All right, I'm glad this is being brought up as well. So S-Snake, I want you to pretend to beat me while they are watching. Yo, again, to the person that called that York had told S-Snake to freeze her, shout out to you. Well done. Seeing this so far in advance. S-Snake going, okay. Then undo your power when they're not. Okay. Also, I'm going to warn you about the place in the lab you're not supposed to destroy. All right, then. Let the hunt begin. Very cool. All right, so we got the Seraphims going off. Meanwhile, oh no, hold on. I jumped forward a page. I'm looking on here. I see Warland Elbaf and I see Kid. I'm like, hold on a minute. No, okay. This is not where we are. We're in Egghead still. All right. I jumped. I'm a little excited. I know it's a Shanks chapter, so I'm getting hyped. All right. Hurry. Onto the ship. Okay, so this is more of a Sent Tomorrow. You see some of the PXs as well. Evacuate Egghead. Get to safety. And then, oh! Oh! I'm glad! Oh, I'm glad I went back! Oh my gosh! Blackbeard's coming? Oh! Okay. This has got potential. This is gonna be good. Lafitte? Blackbeard himself? Who's on his way to Egghead right now? Oh man. Yo, okay, good. Good way to start this chapter. Okay. Coming back to that, tabled for now. Egghead's evacuating, Blackbeard's on his way. Or someone from the Blackbeard crew's on his way. And York is saying, kill everybody, except for the Stella and me and the people underground. Okay. Warland Elbaf, New World. Listen up, kid pirates. Don't even think of sailing up to our captain, red-haired Shanks. So we're getting a bunch of other allied pirates of Shanks then. All right, captain of the Puddle Pirates, Frog Toes Ribbitini. As though he told you, I mean owed you, an audience. Ribbit? This guy flubbed his line. Who's commenting on that? You said it, Sonny. Fuga Murgle. Huh? Your dentures, Pops. The social club band leader, Fugar, the ad enterer. Oh, the adventurer. Oh, custom the dentures. Oh, that's cute. Okay. That's why you boots. I hate you. Oh, you're so brave, princess. The princess of the bourgeois pirates, Pururu the brave. Okay. What? These are... Come on, man. These are Shanks pirates? Even Kid is like, are you serious? Is this really part of Red Hair's operation? Still, I mean, there are some famous names among them, so don't get sloppy. I mean, this is the New World, right? I wasn't going to go easy on them, even if they are nobodies, but... Yo, move those ships out of the way. All right, here we go, Shanks. What do you mean, Captain? We're not going to let them lay a finger on you. Look, I know, I appreciate that, but move all the ships. Are you leaving already, Captain? Just when we finally saw you? It was only supposed to be a pit stop. Instead, I stuck around long enough for a big shot to show up. Now get off and let me walk. And move those ships. Oh, man. Okay. I love, by the way, the robot-looking Frankenstein dude in the background behind Shanks. I don't know if that's going to end up being a named character or something, but I like his design. All right. Remember, my affiliates are famous for being weak. Okay. And they're all laughing. Tell us how you really feel, Captain. Look, it's why we're still alive, because your flag protects us. Now worry less about dying from combat and more of old age, croniali. Huh? Stuff that sassy out of your mouth, Captain. What? What? I like the fact that all his allied pirates are weak. He's probably like, I don't need him, dude. I'm Shanks. It's fine. And you even got Lucky Roo there saying, don't worry, Captain. We're going to handle it. Come on. I mean, he's worth $3 billion. We shouldn't underestimate how fast these young guns can grow. Well, are they already healed up from their fight in Wano? It seems healthy to me. He's raring to fight. And they're like, well, that's good. We're seeing Yasop again. I love this. I love that we're finally at a point in the story in which we're actually hanging out with the Shanks pirates again and seeing them move. Meanwhile, did you get any intel on Blackbeard? No, just that he's left the pirate island. I can tell you where Blackbeard is, Shanks. He's on his way to Egghead right now. I was so sure that he was going to show up in Wano. Dude, you and me both. Shanks, you and me both. I thought for sure Blackbeard was going to go to Wano country, steal Kaido's devil fruit. That was the thing for years. And then Wano went on and on and on, and it didn't happen, so Shanks, you are not alone. Okay. Meanwhile, here's Captain Kidd's data. All right. From the South Blue, it looks like he's been plenty of scraps. Okay. And you see Kidd over there getting ready, saying how many ships? 9. And I see a few faces from bounty posters as well. Well, look, I don't care who they are. I'm going to wipe them out in 10 seconds flat with my damned punk. Dude, look at this gun. Oda must be having so much fun drawing this. Like, the details on the gun and everything. C-17, you got the skull hanging out of the back, the giant cord that's connected to it, all the electricity coming off of it. The other ships are like, what the heck is that, a cannon? Is it pulling the ship in? Meanwhile, Shanks is looking back like, uh-oh. No. Wait, what is it, Captain? Scatter the fleet right now. Huh? Dory, Bragi, assume your positions. Bro, we're going to see them fight too? You got it. Meanwhile, you got him just like bombarding the other ships. This damage is too extreme. I think he's seen an ugly future. Oh! Okay, wait a minute. So this hasn't happened yet. I was about to be like, that dude just got bisected by this thing. Okay. This is Future Sight. The little key thing is Shanks the Future Sight. Okay. Meanwhile, Shanks is like, I knew it. And you see all the different ships just like burning on the ground. Red hair! You got kids screaming. Divine Departure? What is this? Yo! Okay, we're getting right into it. You can see everybody else falling over, foaming at the mouth. Kidd and Shanks, Divine Departure. We're getting a clash like Roger. Yo! Yo. That shot too with the doom around it and the circle in the middle and you got the damn punk over his thing. He's like, it's not the future I'm going to want for you. Okay. All right, let's go. Divine Departure. Let's get this fight going. Okay. Yo. And you see the giant explosion off the back? Kidd looking messed up already? Captain? They're all going flying. And you see, ding! Is that supposed to be the hockey coming off of him? Dude, Shanks! Huh? It got killer too when I stepped in to protect him. The captain's not moving, he's dying! Wait, no way! We surrender red hair, spare our life. There's no way. Don't kill our captain. Here, just take the road poneglyphs, all of them. They're just handing over the rubbings that easy with one divine departure? This way, Captain. We didn't even see anything from Dorian Broggy. What is going on? What is this? Yo, look at the island. Dude, Kid is like messed up. This is essentially Kid's equivalent of Luffy getting smacked down by Kaido the first time. What in the world? And he hit Killer too? Look at the island. Huh? Oh, here we go! Dorian Broggy. Yeah. Hey, tiny humans. If you want to point your guns at our home, just remember that what goes around comes around. Hakoku sovereignty, splitting a hole in the rest of the ship. That shot right there is gorgeous. Dude, the hole in the middle of the ship slamming down, breaking both ways. At Elbaf in the New World, the 3 billion bounty pirate Eustace Captain Kidd and his kid pirates were destroyed. That's the chapter? To be continued. I don't even know what to say here. I'm looking. He one-shotted the whole crew. Kid is dying. Killer got hit. Dorian Broggy broke the ship and everyone else just drowned. At Elbaf in the New World, the 3 billion pound... What in the world? Thank you, whoever just donated, by the way. I heard the little donation thing go off. Hakoku sovereignty. At the Elbaf in the New World, the 3 billion bounty pirate Eustace Kidd and its kid pirates have been destroyed. It's done? I feel like this can't be it. Maybe I'm in denial. Review time. Maybe I'm in denial. I feel like this can't be it for Kidd. There's no way. As much as I would absolutely love if Oda goes, look, I want to show just how strong Shanks is. We're going to have him one-shot the entire crew of kids and wipe them all out and make them like cower and cry and go, just take our rubbings and that's it. As much as I think that would be absolutely incredible and I would love that, I feel like there has to be some way in which Kid and Killer survive. There has to be. If they really go out like this after everything that happened in Wano Country, after Hawkins and after the fight with Big Mom, I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe it. I've seen too many red herrings in One Piece. I don't believe it. I've seen too many chapters in which Big Mom is about to destroy the Thousand Sunny and the Thousand Sunny's okay. I've seen too many things in which people get smacked in the head or cut in half and they live. But the thing that's given me pause this time around is the narrator. The narrator straight up says, at Elbaf in the New World, the 3 billion bounty pirate Eustace Kidd and his kid pirates have been destroyed. Which says to me that maybe I should take this seriously. But then again, hold on. I got to do something real quick. Wait. I got to see how this was worded before. Give me 1 second. I'm pulling up Sabaody Archipelago. Okay? I'm looking at the end of Sabaody when Kuma splits up the Straw Hats. Because there's a line at the end where it's something like the Straw Hats have been eradicated or something. And that is what this is reminding me of. And I'm pretty sure it was the narrator who said it before. So hold on, let me pull this up. It's this chapter, right? Okay, here we go. No, okay, it's the next one. That's the one where he wipes away Zoro. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is chapter... I feel like I should know this chapter off the top of my head, but unfortunately I do not. I am not an encyclopedia. Chapter 513. This is where the Straw Hats get sent back. And it says here, Grove 12, Sabaody Archipelago, the Grand Line. That day, the Straw Hat Pirates, led by Captain Monkey D. Luffy, were eradicated. Now, the difference here with this narrator box is it doesn't say eradicated. It says, at Elbaf in the New World, the 3 billion bounty pirate Eustace Kid and his kid pirates were destroyed. Not eradicated, destroyed. And while you could argue those are synonyms, I do wonder if the choice to use the word destroyed is supposed to separate this moment from that moment. But to me, first off, that moment of divine departure is incredible. I feel like that divine departure attack, which is obviously like Roger's attack with Oden and all that stuff, I feel like that is meant to be the moment for Kid that's the same as the moment for Kaido and Luffy at the beginning of Wano Country when Kaido Thunder Bagua one-shots Luffy. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. The difference is Luffy came off of escaping Whole Cake Island and Zoe and Dressrosa, and Kid came off of Wano Country. Fights with Kaido and Big Mom. So Kid is still probably a little messed up. You even get that earlier in this chapter. There's that line where it says, hold on, where Yasop's talking, and he says, he seems healthy to fight to me. He's raring to fight. And Shanks is even like, look, are they healed up yet from the fight in Wano Country? So even though he's raring to fight, that doesn't mean he's healed up. I think he probably still is taking a little bit of residual from that. The thing that blows my mind, the fact that's completely throwing me off, is that he divine departured Kid, and then the remnants of his haki, like the runoff of his haki, was enough to knock out Killer from afar, along with completely wiping out the rest of his crew, making them fall over and foam at the mouth. Something just seems off to me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is me in denial. And as hype as this is, I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I hope more than anything this sticks. I hope this is it. I really do. And I'm not saying that as a hater of Kid or anything like that. Kid is totally fine to me. I've never been like a stan of Kid. I've always thought Kid was fine. But the moment that would wreck me is like, because we haven't even talked about this yet, is Blackbeard in the beginning. Blackbeard showing up to Egghead is worrying me. Because if Blackbeard shows up and we hear room, it's over. If that happens, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I imagine there are probably Kid stans the same way that I am a Lost stan. And if that happens and Blackbeard pulls up to Egghead Island and says room or shambles, it's over for me. Though, really, if Oda actually does that, that would be ballsy. I mean, people love Law, people love Kid. I really wonder, I feel like this can't be the end of Kid and Killer. I think, realistically, this is maybe the end of the Kid Pirates. Like, the permanent end. You could see Wire and whatever the other one's name is. I only know Wire's name because of the One Piece trading card game. But it's like the other member of the Kid Pirates. The fact that they're literally holding out their poneglyph rummings and be like, please spare us. Please don't attack us anymore and don't kill our captain, is truly wild to me. So maybe Shanks doesn't. Maybe Shanks is like, all right, whatever, fine. I got the rubbings, you're good. I'm not looking to kill. And he just wants to teach him a lesson. But then again, I don't know. The thing is, we don't know a ton about Shanks. We're at a point in the story in which anything could realistically happen. So if Oda does choose to go, look, I wanted to show off Shanks' power. We're beyond this now. Supernova's who? Doesn't matter. We're in Yonko territory now. Blackbeard's coming into Egghead Island. Luffy's there right now. Shanks is making his move. Maybe Buggy makes his move in the next cover story, and that's that. If that's what he wants to do, this is one hell of a way to set this up. I I cannot remember a time in the story in which he's done something similar to this, outside of maybe the beginning of Wano with the stuff with Kaido, and like I said, the thing that it reminded me of with the narrator box, Sabo the Archipelago. The only difference there being that involves Luffy, right? That involves our main character. Obviously, there's no situation in which our main character doesn't come out on top. It's a shonen manga at the end of the day. Obviously, Luffy is always going to win. He's going to lose and lose and lose against the villains sometimes, but ultimately, Luffy at the end of the day will come out on top. Or escape, happily. Kid doesn't necessarily need that. Kid, as a side character, could very well be wiped from the face of the earth alongside Killer, and this is it, as a testament to the strength of red-haired Shanks. And if that is the case, I'm thrilled. I'm all in for it. I love this. Oda delivered. GOAT, peak fiction, all that jazz. The art, I also have to say, I haven't even touched on this yet, during this chapter, is phenomenal. The stuff with the ship, that shot of Dory and Bragi going in with Hakoku sovereignty, slamming in the middle, ripping the ship apart. And then, like, oh my God. Oh, I just love it. I love it. And then thinking back to, like, because Big Mom, didn't she do Ikoku sovereignty? Wasn't that her whole thing? I'm losing it. This is wild. I just really can't get over what I'm looking at. Just the drowning of the rest of the Kid Pirates into that shot of Shanks looking up and the word destroyed on the screen is brutal. And the divine departure. And also, too, I love what Oda did with the setup with the future sight. I love that, because I feel like there is a point in time in which maybe that shot of Kid wiping out the rest of those allied, like, weak pirates of Shanks's, like the frog guy and the little princess or whatever. I think there's a time in the story in which Oda maybe would have ended the chapter with that, where you're like, oh my God, Kid's doing something awesome, and the next chapter picks up and it's revealed that that was future sight. I'm really happy that he didn't do that. I'm really, really happy that in the same chapter he was like, nope, this actually didn't happen. This is the future that Shanks is envisioning. He can't let this happen. He's jumping up ahead. He's doing divine departure. He's wiping him out. I think that would have made me upset. Slightly. If the chapter would have ended with that cliffhanger. I think that was really, really, really wise of Oda to, in the exact same panel, show that that's not the case. Because you can even see it on the bottom when he says, with my damn punk, and then you see the shot of Shanks looking up, and you see the sound effect of the hockey and the 3 exclamation points. So that should be your tell already that this isn't actually happening. But, and I guess I should have seen it too, because it's sort of like darkened out with the gray and the black on the top as well. But that shot, dude, of his crew literally getting split in half. It's not even his crew, it's his allied captains. I mean, this is wild. And they're all screaming, what is that, a cannon? Is it pulling into the ship? Just seeing Dory, Bragi, and Shanks is wild. And again, I haven't even touched really on the stuff with Blackbeard. Like, Blackbeard coming to Egghead Island with everything that we know about it already, with the way that the narrator was hyping up the end of Egghead being a potentially bigger incident than the Ohara incident, and having Blackbeard there with the Seraphims, with the Marines, with Saturn, with Luffy. That's 2 Yonko in one situation. Again, though, I am very, very worried for Law. I'm worried for Kobe. I'm worried for Boa. I'm worried for Garp. I am worried for everyone who came in contact with Blackbeard or is going to fight Blackbeard if Blackbeard is already here. Now, that could very well not actually be Blackbeard. It could be one of his allied captains. But then again, I'm looking at this panel on the bottom of page 4, and it looks like logs. It looks like the logs of his ship, like his classic ship, pre-time skip, and then the flag, which says to me this is the man himself. I don't think this is an allied captain. I don't think this is Lafitte or Katarina Devon or whatever. I think this has got to be Blackbeard. Which then makes me wonder if this is Blackbeard. He can't get taken out here. Like something maybe goes down, he steals a devil fruit, he steals something from Puck Records or something. But I don't see a situation in which Blackbeard gets taken out now unless this is actually just Final War. If we're getting into it, if this is literally the prelude, which we already, I guess, could assume, but if this is like the prelude to the actual showdown of the Final War, if it's Egghead Island, I don't know. Even this whole subplot with York, like, we didn't touch on this at all, because obviously there's a lot of stuff to discuss with Shanks and with Kid and whether or not that's gonna stick, and the stuff with Blackbeard. But I think it's interesting here that York finally reveals, like, look, the world government isn't just erasing the Stella, they decided to erase me too. Which, like, yeah, no duh, they're not gonna suddenly make you a celestial dragon, York. What were you thinking? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was their whole big thing is, oh, they promised they're gonna make me a celestial dragon, I wanna be the only Vegapunk. So that's not the case. So she's saying, all right, kill everybody, except for me, the Stella, and the people underground. So that's it. So the Seraphim are now running wild. You got S-Hawk, you know, S-Shark, S-Snake, S-Bear. They're off doing their own thing. York is issuing the commands. The hunt is beginning. Who else is she taking out? I'm assuming this is, because you can see it's grayed out, I'm assuming this is the flashback setting up all the rest of that stuff, because it says hours earlier. So this is prior to seeing that conversation with York and with Vegapunk and the reveal. So then I'm wondering, okay, well, if Mihawk and Bear get taken out and Snake and Shark get taken down, like, where does that leave York in the story? I have no idea. I guess that's the beauty of it, though, right? Is that we're at a situation in which you can't even really predict what's going on. And I also kind of don't want to predict what's going on because I'm just, like, letting the story wash over me. I feel like Egghead has been so solid with so many really cool twists and turns, you know, with the stuff with Stussy and the stuff with York now. I just feel like Oda's doing a really, really good job of making sure that we're not just sitting on one reveal and introducing all these other bits and pieces that are all equally hype. Now we're bringing Blackbeard into the mix. Meanwhile, he's showing us what's going on in the rest of the world, showing us that stuff with Law and Blackbeard. We're seeing stuff with Kid and Shanks. I mean, I know I'm kind of stuck on it, but I just feel like I have to mention it again. I don't think Kid can die here. As much as I think it would be a really cool story choice, I feel like there is stuff left for Kid to do come Final War. I think the declaration from Big Mom saying, curse you, Law, curse you, Kid, as she fell into the ground, unless all the stuff that we were thinking about Big Mom and Kaido potentially coming back or something, maybe that's not it. Maybe they are actually officially done. For the rest of the story, no appearances in Final War, no appearances in Elbaf. They are done forever for the rest of the story. And that was the last we saw of Big Mom and the last we saw of Kaido. Outside of maybe like a Rocks flashback or something. Because if that is the case, then maybe this is the last of Kid. Because realistically, when you think of all the major players that still have things to do in the Final War, you've got the four Yonko, you've got Shanks, you've got Luffy, you've got Blackbeard, you've got Buggy. You've got the entirety of the Cross Guild. You've got the characters in Impel Down in custody with the government. You've got Weevil, you've got Doflamingo, you've got Bon Clay. You've got the Revolutionaries. You've got potentially Garp, if Garp didn't just get killed with Blackbeard on his way. You've got Garp, you've got the other Marines, you've got the Admirals. Like, really, when you think about it like that, and you think about the amount of characters that are here that could make for a phenomenal Final War, he could be culling the herd. He could say, look, Kid's moment in the story was the fight with Big Mom. That could very well have been Kid's big moment. It could have been, look, you wanted this. I wanted to show you Kid was a threat. I wanted to set up this character as being on the level. He has this massive bounty. He did his job. He took down Big Mom. Now I want to prove to you Big Mom and Kaido aren't anything. That Kid is next level. I mean, I'm sorry, not Kid. Now I've got an agenda. Not Kid. That Shanks is next level. And Kid is nothing. And Shanks can go in, divine departure, boom, obliterate Kid, and be done with it. Just to show that really Shanks is on another level from Big Mom and from Kaido, that they don't know what they're dealing with, that Shanks has all these allied captains and all these allied crews that are weaklings because he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't need super powerful captains. He wants to just hang out with the people that he likes because realistically he can one-shot anybody with this divine departure, advanced observation hockey, advanced conquerors hockey, whatever the hell he's got. That's wiping out the entire crew in one shot. Like, the more I'm thinking about it and talking about it, this is such a brilliant way to set up Shanks. It really is. I just think there's so many ways they could have gone about this to show how strong Shanks is. So the fact that they're choosing to say, no, we're wiping out Kid, and then it's making me reprocess everything that we've seen post-time skip already. Like, I feel like I'm going through the stages of grief. I'm not even a Kid fan. Like, I'm not Geo. There's people out there who love Kid. I am not one of them. But it still seems ludicrous to me that this could be the end for him. I'm stunned. By this whole chapter, I'm stunned. In the best possible way. I love this. And then the stuff with Dory and Bragi. Like, maybe, I don't want to put this in the ether. Maybe we don't go to Elbaf. Maybe this is Elbaf. Maybe we don't get that. Maybe if Blackbeard is on his way to Egghead and the Gorosei are there, that maybe we don't have that moment. That maybe this is that moment. Maybe the Elbaf stuff is the stuff with Shanks and with Kid. And maybe the idea of potentially like a Davy back with the Shanks Pirates or something, maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe Final War Prelude starts on Egghead, Luffy and Blackbeard. Shanks is doing his thing over here. He's already off of Full Lead Island. Maybe, see, I also don't know the time frame. Maybe Blackbeard, with this intel where they said, any intel on Blackbeard, and he goes, no, just that he left Pirate Island Full Lead. Maybe Garp shows up and he's already gone. Maybe Garp shows up to Full Lead. Because I'm trying to think back. We didn't see Garp come face to face with Blackbeard yet. We saw him on the way to save Kobe. And we saw Helmappo and we saw the other Marines. But we didn't see him seeing Blackbeard. Which means this intel from the red-haired pirates could be true. That he left Full Lead Island, that Garp gets there and it's too late and everyone's already gone. And Kobe's gone and Law's gone and Boa's gone and they're all off with Blackbeard right now and that's it. If that's the case, and Garp shows up to an empty Full Lead Island and maybe takes on some other members of the Blackbeard Pirates or takes out some of his Titanic captains, we're in for a good time. Because then that gives Garp reason to loop back around with the Marines to then come to Egghead Island to see what his grandson is doing. That could very much happen as well, I think. And could be another way to tie them into the final war and bring them all to the same location. We don't necessarily need to see a full-out war on Full Lead Island. We've heard stuff about the Pirate Island Full Lead. We've seen it on multiple occasions. We saw it with Moria. We saw it on other occasions. I feel like that, again, could be a situation where we don't even really need to go there. Also, I see Aaron in the chat saying Pudding. You're right, Pudding's with them too. So then if that's the case, maybe you've got, instead of the 3 fronts that I brought up earlier, maybe you've just got 2. Maybe you've got the front on Egghead and the front on Elbaf. And then that leads into Final War. But then there's all this other stuff that's going on still. We still are thinking about Marijoa, Dragon, you know, what happened to Sabo after the Lulucia thing, Emu. There's a lot of major players. And again, as I'm talking through it and saying the characters that still have to get wrapped up, when we're realistically in the final saga right now, maybe not everybody is going to go out like a beast. Maybe some characters are going to go out like this, with a divine departure to the face, and that's where their journey ends. And if Oda really truly sticks to this and does this, I could see this becoming one of, like, retroactively becoming one of the single best chapters of One Piece of all time. Like, unquestionably. Blackbeard on his way to Egghead, and Kid being wiped out, one-shotted by a divine departure attack, the same attack as Roger and Oden against Kid, and wiping out his crew in one shot. That, to me, unironically, peak fiction, best of the best One Piece, shocking, sets up so many different leads for where the story could go. I love this. And I even like, again, it's a minor touch, but it's something I really like, is the fact that his affiliates are famous for being weak. Is wild to me. That Shanks doesn't care. He's not looking to amass a giant crew of affiliate pirates that are super strong. He doesn't care. He doesn't need them. He doesn't need a super strong grand fleet. He doesn't need Harudins and Idio and Cavendish and Bartolomeo. He doesn't need the Cross Guild. He needs himself and his crew, and that's it. And he's able to one-shot entire 3 billion berry bounty crews with one attack, to the point where they're on their knees begging them to spare them and spare their captain, saying, take our poneglyphs. Phenomenal. 10 out of 10. Beautiful. Best of the best. Truly one of the best chapters of all time. I think it's amazing. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Not only, and I mean that legitimately, like, if this leads to where I think it leads, I don't even only think this is one of the best chapters of Egghead. I really think this is one of the best chapters of all time. Period, full stop. I said what I said. Could you imagine if this is actually the end of Kid? If it's done here, if we never see him again for the rest of the story. I guess the last thing I want to leave off on before we start getting into super chats and theories, because I see lots of donations and lots of things people want to say. The last thing I will say is, again, this terrifies me for Law. I think the difference is Law almost has protagonist powers and plot armor, and Law has something set up that Kid does not. Kid does not have immortality surgery. Kid does not have the Chekhov's gun waiting to be fired at some point later on in the story. Like, at some point in the story, we're going to need to see the payoff of the immortality surgery thing, which means that until that moment, Law can't die. Full stop, cannot die. Doesn't matter what Oda does with the story, doesn't matter how he throws us off, he cannot die. Unless, off-screen, please no, unless off-screen, Law is forced to use his immortality surgery on Blackbeard. And when we see Blackbeard again, he's using Room, he's using Shambles. That's the only way I can see Law being dead, having his devil fruit completely taken, being dead. That's how I see it happening. It would have to be immortality surgery, forced immortality surgery on somebody else. But again, the way that Oda has set that up in the story leads me to believe that the immortality surgery is going to be used for good at some point in the story, either on Luffy or on a major protagonist, that it will not end up being used on a bad guy. But what a way to play with our expectations if Oda decides to go, no, you know what? Law is being forced to use the immortality surgery on somebody bad, and then we need to figure out how to deal with them. Horrifying. But again, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. You look at character polls, you look at the general vibe. Kid, objectively, has been the least popular of the three. Forever. Law and Luffy have always been more popular than Kid. So if he was going to do this to any of them, he's going to do this to Kid. And I feel like that is the one thing that I'm holding out hope for. I'm huffing my copium. That Law doesn't get done like this. Because Law is too popular. And too many people fanboy over Law. And too many people love Law. That's my only thing. I feel like it just can't happen with what Law is set up to do in the story in the future, and due to Law's popularity. Even due to the popularity of Law's, like, flashback characters. Look at Corazon. Corazon consistently is at the top of favorite character polls. People love Corazon. People simp for Corazon on a daily basis. I think that is the thing that is saving Law from this same fate. Which then, again, ties back to what I've been saying for the past half an hour, which is that if this is going to happen to anybody, if anybody's going to be one-shotted, if anybody's going to be done at this point, it's going to be Kid. Because realistically, Kid did what he needed to do. Kid's moment, boom, was the fight with Big Mom. That was it. Now, will Kid fans like that? Probably not. Do I think Kid fans would be satisfied with Kid's biggest moment in the story being a shared moment with Law? Probably not. But do I, as a Law fan, care? I do not. Would I rather, for story and narrative purposes, see this in which Ona, Divine Departures, Kid's entire crew? I would rather see that. I'd rather this be it. And I'd rather them move on and cull the herd. And in fact, I wouldn't be against them doing this for other supernovas. Also, if this is really where Kid goes down, this makes me reevaluate so much from Wano Country. That makes me reevaluate if Big Mom and Kaido are ever going to come back in any capacity or if they're actually down. This makes me reevaluate if Hawkins is dead. Because I think some people think that Hawkins is still alive. That, you know, he had that 1% chance of living or whatever, but when he slumped over that he died. Part of me, prior to reading this chapter, thought, Hawkins is a supernova, he'll probably come back in some capacity or whatever. Now I'm thinking, I think Hawkins is dead. If Kid goes out like this, Hawkins is dead. What is Hawkins gonna do, man? Hawkins is gone. There's no reason to bring him back. I mean, you got all these other supernova that's still around. You've got, well, for the time being, you've got Law. You've got Luffy. You've got Zoro. I didn't even touch on this. Killer might be out. If they're all drowning in the water, Killer might be gone. Killer's moment might have been Wano Country, might have been Roof Piece, might have been killing Hawkins. And this could be it. Killer might have gone out with the broken mask, with the runoff of a divine departure from Shanks. That could be it. I almost feel worse for Killer fans, because Killer didn't even get taken out with the one shot to the face. Killer got taken out from runoff of an attack of Shanks' hockey. Now, we don't know how much of that he took, because it says here it got Killer 2 when he stepped in to protect him. And I'm looking at this panel again of the Divine Departure, and unless I'm blind, I'm not seeing Killer here. I'm seeing Shanks, the cape, the sword, the damn punk, Kid, and that's it. I'm not seeing Killer in the middle. He didn't jump in and stop the attack from Kid. Killer is not there. Things might look a little scratchy. I don't see Killer. Which says to me, Killer was like on the side when that happened and got obliterated. And that Kid really did tank that. And now he's near death, if not drowning currently in the water. The only situation in which I maybe see, because we haven't talked about this yet, and I do want to touch on this before we get into theory stuff. And I feel like people are probably eager to hear my opinion on this. I feel like there is a situation in which Shanks is not that cold-blooded. And Shanks takes the road poneglyphs, honors the wishes of the kid pirates, spares his captain, jumps down into the water, and saves Kid and Killer and some of them. And then maybe, like, takes them into his crew or something, or forces them to be allied captains or crewmates or something. I could see that realistically being a thing, considering and this is such a basic thing, right? But, two things. One, Kid has red hair. Kid's always had red hair. I think it would be interesting if Kid became an underling of the red-haired pirates. I think that could be interesting. Second thing is that Kid's whole story throughout all of this has been that he's raring to fight. Has been that, you know, he doesn't care if he dies, he just wants to fight Shanks. That he went through this before. That he's taken L after L after L. And that realistically, Shanks putting him in his place here could be like, look, the character growth for Kid is you're not all that. And you should work under me. And you're going to do what I tell you to do, or I'm going to kill you. I could see that being the dynamic. With Kid finally coming face to face with the realization that he is not ready for Shanks. He is not on that level. Because we talked about this before when, you know, Luffy and Kid and Law all got their 3 billion berry bounties. That realistically, I think, personally, Luffy beats them both. Pretty handily. As much as I love Law, Luffy takes them both out. Luffy is on another level from Kid and from Law. And this right here is just proof of that. That shot too of the ship being rended in half, and you see like the skeleton mouth of the sea beast crumbling into the water. It's just, this is a stunning chapter. Really, really stunning. One of the best in the entire series. I love it. I really, really love it. The more I look at it, and the more I look at the panels, and the more I think about the consequences, and the more I think about what this could set up for the story, this is phenomenal. And how Shanks even deals with this, and his affiliates being weak, and him already having intel on Blackbeard, and potentially knowing that Blackbeard wasn't even there on Full Lead when Garp goes there, and then Blackbeard is on his way to Egghead, setting up the stuff with Egghead, setting up more of like the incident that's going to be greater than Ohara. Yasop being like, look, he's healed up from Wano, he's ready to fight, dude. And he has all the intel and he's reading it. I love this. Fantastic chapter. 1079, 10 out of 10. Peak fiction. Well done. Even seeing Dory and Broggy again, saying if you want to point your guns at our home, just remember what goes around comes around, and boom. Taking out the ship. Like, there is truly nothing like a good One Piece chapter. I feel like when you get a good one, and Oda's on his A game, and you get something like this, there's nothing better. Peak fiction. With all that being said, I gotta see what James did for the thumbnail this week. Let us open this up. I'm very curious to see what he did. I'm assuming it's gonna be Shanks or Kid. If it's not Shanks and Kid, I don't know what he's gonna go with. But let's see what James did for the thumbnail before we start getting into theories and going over super chats and talking with the chat. Let's take a look at this. All right. Oh, you guys are going to like this one. All right. James decided this week to draw Kid, putting together his damn punk with the chains and clearly leaving room for my face, knowing that I was going to have a big reaction to this chapter. Choosing not to draw Shanks, but choosing to draw Kid with the damn punk on one side being built up. You see the cord coming down in front of Kid's face. I'm shocked he didn't choose to draw Shanks at all, but I feel like he had a reason for this. I want to see why he drew Kid instead of Shanks. Let me open this up. Let's see. James said, well, look, I don't know if people are going to agree with this, but this is probably the last chance I will ever get to draw Kid. LOL. This is my first ever time drawing him, so I figured now is better than ever. I cannot believe, this is literally all he wrote. He wrote, I cannot believe you've done this, Shanks. James, that's all he left. No Dorian Bragi, no Shanks. He just said, this is my last chance to draw him. I've never done him before. First and last. This is why I chose to do Kid. Wow. I mean, it still looks awesome. It looks really good. And I could definitely do something funny with the thumbnail in which I have a reaction face and I make my hair red and I put Shanks' scars on. I think that could be fire. I mean, he did a phenomenal job with this. Like the lighting on Kid's face, all the different little screws and nuts and bolts being absorbed into the damn punk. It looks really, really good. But I guess he's right. I mean, if you're not going to get another chance to draw Kid, if this is actually the end of the Kid Pirates, you got to honor him. This is it. Mimi even said in the chat, exactly, there are definitely more Shanks moments incoming. So James's logic is solid here. And art-wise, says Mike Moore, this is honestly one of James's best work. And Gabe D. Champ says, I agree, you gotta honor Eustace Kid, who's done. He's done. It's over. Some of the screws look like Kid's tears if you're looking at it a bit from afar. Hold on, if you stand back and squint. Oh, you know what? The one screw coming down does kind of look like a tear. Did you mean to do that, James? Oh, man. No, honestly, I think this is the right choice. I do. Because I could do funny things. I'll do my little reaction face. We'll do something fun. I'll have it on the side. We'll have one piece. 1079 on the bottom. Kid absorbing for the attack. Wow. I really, as I'm drinking the water and I'm taking in and processing everything, I really can't believe that this might be it. This really might be it. And then now I'm thinking back to what Oda said. Remember at the beginning of the year when he made his comments at Jump Festa, talking about what to expect? And he said, I can't believe this person is going to fight this person. Let's hope nobody dies. He's clearly talking about Kid. Like, without a doubt, we're only 3 months into the year. 3 months into 2023. And Oda has already delivered on his Jump Festa comment. I think that is unheard of and unprecedented. I cannot think of a time in which 3 months into the year, he already paid off what he promised at Jump Festa. I feel like there have been times in which he's like, this is going to be the year of Sanji and things got delayed. Or he says, this is going to be the Lurking Legend and we don't get Emu until the summertime. Or Rocks until the summertime. Like, this is it. He said, boom, I've teased too many things at Jump Festa. I want you guys to know I'm dead serious. You're getting what you're getting 3 months into the year. Ozzy also said this is probably going to be Kid's obituary picture. Wow. Well done, James. Excellent. Good work, James. You did great work. Proud of you, buddy. Now, with that being said, we got to get into some of these super chats. We got to get into some of these donations because there is a lot of stuff to go over here. By the way, I hope you guys are enjoying the new look of the stream. How we have the alert box coming down from the top so it's no longer a giant box on the side. You got the little thing on the bottom with all the subscribers and the members and things like that. I think it's pretty cool. All right, where to begin? There is so much to go over here. Let me go all the way back because I know there were a lot of donations and a lot of things people were saying. Let's go all the way back. Let me see this. Live streaming, stream health, analytics, activity. My only problem is why in the world, oh, here we go. Okay. I was like, why is this not refreshing? Oh, wow, there is really a lot of stuff to go over here. Holy mackerel, there is a lot. All right, we are going to get started Shard Pop super chatting saying this chapter was ultimate. Caesar D. Law super chatting and saying Oda's commented Jump Festa, that person fight, hope no one dies. I'm thinking it's actually going to be Kizaru and Kuzan. That would be fire as well. You think that maybe that was alluding to a different fight and that people will assume that it was Kid and Shanks, but in reality it's somebody else. I like that. Code 1XZ said, I was the first one to tell you about the York thing weeks back, so shout out to you, Code 1. I hope York ends up being the 10th Titanic captain of the Science Division, and Blackbeard gets his own army of Seraphim. That would be a wild direction to take the story if York ends up joining Blackbeard, now that we know he's on his way to Egghead. That would be insane. Barry M. super chatted and said, Shanks saw the future and leapt from the shore to Kid in 1 second. The absolute speed of the legend. Love to see it. Banuka in a shoe said, the only thing I'm going to miss are Killer and the ship because of the backstory. But otherwise, I'm totally fine with Kid going out in this way. I'm right there with you. I agree with that. Julius super chatting saying, Google the word useless and look at the drop-down results for a huge surprise. Okay. Google useless. Don't tell me that people messed with the search engine and actually put Eustace Kid. Useless Eustace. Let's see. Seymour. Useless. Oh, don't tell me they did my guy like this. Look at the drop-down results. Okay. Drop-down results for useless. Right now, I'm not seeing Kid. So I think maybe that was the case a couple days ago when the scans came out, but right now Kid is not under useless. At least what I'm looking at. Even when I go on images, I'm not seeing Kid. I'm not seeing Killer either. You're saying I see it right now? Somebody link me to the official search then. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place, but I'm not seeing useless Eustace Kid. It's the third suggestion. I will show you my screen right now. It is definitely not on my end. Hold on, let me open this up. Take a look. Useless. Here we go. Right monitor, take a look. Useless. I'm not seeing Kid anywhere. Synonym of useless. What does it mean for someone to be useless? Useless is an insult. Just type useless. Okay. Depeche Mode. Adjective. Useless slang. It's in the autofill? No, it's not. It says useless synonym, useless meaning, useless person, how to pronounce useless, useless web, useless meaning in Hindi, useless sentence, slang for a useless person. Don't hit enter. I'm not hitting enter. I'm literally searching. It doesn't show up. I'm not seeing Kid. It definitely says that on YouTube, not on Google. Okay, you gotta type on YouTube. I mean, I'll go to YouTube real quick here. We'll go to YouTube. Useless Eustace maybe might come up. Hold on, let's do useless. I see Farm, Child, Box, Inventions, Omar Apollo, and then Captain Mid as the sixth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might just type useless Captain Mid in the tags for my stream today. But I'm not seeing anything. I was on Google and there was no Kid. And I'm on YouTube and there was no Kid. This is the closest one. Google has it. Again, I'm telling you, I am on Google right now. Google.com. Useless. Oh, now it is. Useless Captain Mid. Third down from this Google search. So it's just you have to drop it down from Google.com as opposed to the Google search engine. And it does show up. How funny. Useless Captain Mid. Wow. Well. I feel bad for him. I really do. I really, really do. Poor Kid. But I also wouldn't say he was useless at the end of the day. Even if people are upset by this and you're a Kid fan and you wanted more, at the end of the day, he still was one of the two characters who took down Big Mom. So he was hardly useless, I think. All right, let me see this. Next one comes from... Who's it coming from? This next one comes from I Ate Your Potato. He said, could we please get an F in the chat for useless Captain Mid. Shanks is on a whole nother level right now. Also, let me put the chat back on the screen. I realized it was off because I didn't want to be spoiled during the chapter. Let me pull the chat back up. Hold on. Let me open this up. Drag this up a little bit so you could see more responses. Hold on. Da 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 da. There we go. Okay. Boom. We've got, let me see. Barry donated again and said, at least we saw Law versus Blackbeard and Shanks versus Kid on screen, giving strong Sabaody vibes for Kid. I brought that up earlier as well when I was doing my review. I pulled up the Sabaody volume, so I'm glad that other people agree with me. Very, very nice. Cody donated and said, Kid's entire existence was simply to hype Shanks. He's got to be dead now. I'm sure you are not alone. Alejandro super chatted and said, I really like that Shanks was wondering if Kid was at full power before fighting him. But as soon as Kid was going to attack his friends, Shanks one-shotted him. James Coe super chatted and said, Shanks always is giving people the chance to stand down before fighting. I now believe Kaido stood up and stood down against Shanks when he went to go to Marineford. Let me read that again. I think you might have typed two things separately. Shanks is always giving people the chance to stand down before fighting. So I believe that Kaido straight up stood down against Shanks when he wanted to go to Marineford. Maybe he did. To be fair, we were seeing Kid as part of Roof Piece against Kaido and Big Mom. Meanwhile, Kid is getting one shot at Divine Departure. Kaido and Big Mom couldn't do that. Kaido and Big Mom could never do what Shanks just did. The entire crew. Kaido one shot at Luffy, but this is all another level. This is the entire crew. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Alejandro also donated again and said, I really think that Shanks was wondering if Kid was at full power before fighting him, but as soon as Kid was going to attack his friends, Shanks had to one-shot. He saw how much damage he was going to do. And Colin Parker also added to that, saying, the last time we heard Dorian Broggy's line was in Chapter 1 when Lucky shot the bandit. If these scenes parallel, this could very well mean that Kid is dead. Let me go back to Chapter 1 real quick. Let me pull this up. I want to see the exact thing that Lucky Roo said to the bandit. All the way back. East Blue Chapter 1. Let's open this baby up. East Blue Chapter 1. Let me see. When they're in the bar and Lucky Roo shoots the guy. Let me see. Let me see again. Ought to keep him busy a while. Lucky Roo. I just want to double check. I want to make sure it is the same line. It's not one-to-one the same line. He says, I don't know what you want, but you better back off before you get hurt. Come any closer and we're going to have to kill you, cowards. Putting your life on the line by pointing that at me. What are you talking about? I'm saying it's not safe to point guns, is what Shanks says. Then Lucky Roo shows up, and then they say, now you've gone and done it. And then, stop whining, landlubbers. You're not dealing with saints here. We're pirates, and we don't play by the rules. You can pour drinks on me, you can throw food at me, you can even spit on me. I'll just laugh that stuff off. But good reason or not, nobody hurts a friend of mine. So it's not really a line about, like, their home. It's just a line saying nobody hurts a friend of mine. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a parallel, but it's not the same line. Yeah. Mimi saying they aren't saints. Exactly. Chapter 1 did say something about guns aren't toys and you put your life on the line, though. Yeah, but that one-to-one is not the same. What Dorian Broggy said is not the same as when Lucky Roo shows up and shoots the bandit. So, there we go. Where did I leave off? Hold on. I left off with Colin Parker. Barry again. Coming through saying, I think the fact that they gave up the poneglyph rubbings is kind of like the Davy Back fights where they take your flag. So I really do want to see Kid and Killer bounce back. I think you are not alone there. Nico super chatting saying, when Luffy died to Kaido, his eyes were blackened out and Kid's were rolled back with scratches. Luffy lost twice to Kaido, and now Kid lost twice to Shanks. I mean, again, I think in my head, I think it's 50-50 right now. I think I could see a situation in which Oda is calling the herd and he wipes Kid out, but I also could see a situation in which Kid comes back from it. But I also think that a lot of the Kid pirates are gone, and I think for the most part, if their ship is gone and they're all drowning, that the pirate crew itself might actually be destroyed. That the pirate crew is now dissolved, they're done. But Kid and Killer and other characters separately could go do their own things. Maybe. Isla, hey, my favorite bartender from Paris, saying Nakama. I think it's Kuzan on the ship. It makes sense. He appears in a Buster Call timeline and he will die in the Buster Call. At least that's what I think. He separates Robin and Sol, and now he'll be the one to reunite them with an ice road direction from Egghead to Elbaf. Ooh. Ooh, I like that a lot. Someone else earlier brought up the idea of Kizaru versus Kuzan and Kuzan being the one on the Blackbeard ship, but I really like the idea of Kuzan dying and then, as his last-ditch effort, creating the road with his ice towards Elbaf. I think that is a really cool idea. I would love to see something like that happen. Very, very cool. Very cool. Etosis super chatted and said, would Blackbeard take the op fruit, or would he want the immortality done on him? Well, it's also a question of does he know about the immortality thing? Also, Kid has always been murderous and low-key evil, so if I'm being honest, he kind of earned this. He definitely did. He did. Drip the Serp super chatted and said, I think Kid was actually pretty healthy, and if he wasn't, it's on him. He's the idiot to start the fight with the Yonko while you're still injured. Totally true. No arguments there. Firefist Sabo donated. No message, just donated. Thank you, appreciate it. Hollow Avarice super chatted and said, what if Shanks forcefully recruits the Kid pirates to join his fleet because in their eyes, they are weak and he only has weaklings be allied captains? That would be wild. But it's also something I brought up earlier, but that would truly be wild if he's like, look, you guys are weak, so you can be my underlings. Nevertheless, this was a super cool way to show off the gulf in power between Shanks and the other Emperors of the Sea and the other supernovas. Agreed. P. Jordan super chatted and said, I think the biggest difference between the Straw Hats being beaten and Kid is that Kid's ship has been completely destroyed. I feel like the fact that the ship is destroyed means a lot, though it could just be me. Javoni Lewis also super chatted, and also going back to what P. Jordan said, that goes in line with what I was mentioning with if the ship is gone, the pirate crew could very well be dissolved, even if Kid and Killer survive. Both things could be true. The crew could be gone, and Kid and Killer could survive. I agree. Javoni also said, I think this speaks to how weak Big Mom was. If Kid tanked her attacks, but Shanks was completely angry based on what he said in the future. I wouldn't go so far to say that Big Mom is weak, but I would say that it goes to show Big Mom is weaker than Shanks. But I wouldn't say she was weak by any means. I mean, Big Mom at the end of the day was still a Yonko. We got to put some respect on her name. Despite how she was treated in the story, she still is a Yonko at the end of the day. So... Isla, my favorite bartender from France, super chatted again and said, regarding Kid, I think he's just out of the Pirate King run now. Shanks destroyed his flag. We'll see him back at Elbaf for Kid and Killer. I also think that's very likely. Yeah. CB, Trice, super chatted and said, I think the Kid pirates are done now, but Kid and Killer are going to travel with Luffy to find Shanks and be allies similar to Law in early New World versus Kaido. Well, I don't necessarily agree with that because Luffy's an Egghead right now. And I don't see a situation in which Kid and Killer are then going to get from here to Egghead Island, and they don't need to find Shanks, they just found him. Shanks found them. One shot into the face. They have no need to find Shanks, they found him, and they lost. So I don't think that's necessarily the case. You guys are saying the audio is cutting out a little bit for me? Uh-oh. Audio's cutting out? Wait, let me listen to this. Hold on. Go over here. The Frontier Dome is closed. Oh no, it sounds fine to me. Same here, the audio is bad. Try refreshing, it'll work for you? Okay, people are saying it's fine now. Other people are saying they can't hear anything. That's bizarre. It's just a little bit of stream lag. It reloaded and it got better now. It was for a brief moment. Just try refreshing the chat. It definitely wasn't something on your end, brief lag. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, it's not showing up anything in my OBS either. It's not saying that anything dropped frames. So I think it might have just been like a YouTube thing. Close and reopen the tab, it'll be good. Excellent. All right, let me continue then with some more of these super chats. This one comes from Robert saying, what happened with Law if Blackbeard is coming and not necessarily an ally? I think we touched on that a little bit earlier during the stream. Matthew Cook super chatted and said, Buongiorno, Roger. This is my first time watching you live, and I never got the chance because I live in Italy. I've been watching your videos for the past 2 years, an absolute fire chapter. Will you ever come out to a Comic-Con event in October? By the way, rest in peace to Kid. Matthew, I will actually be in Italy 2 weeks from now. I am going on a family vacation down the Amalfi Coast. So if you're in Italy, you want to hit me up and get a drink or something, let me know, because I will be there. I'll be there. Reagan's going to be there. It's going to be a good time. So come on through, Matthew Cook. Buongiorno. Awesome. Yeah, I'm very excited. I haven't been back to Italy since I was like in high school. I think I was 16 or 17. So this is my first time back in a long time. To answer your question, would I ever come out to a Comic-Con event there? Of course, absolutely. I think that's obviously just up to the convention to reach out to me and say, we want you to come and we want you to be a guest and we'll fly you out or whatever. But of course, yeah, if a convention wants me to come out, absolutely I would go to a convention. I'm down to go to conventions anywhere. If you have a local convention in your country and you're like, I think it'd be awesome to see RogersBase there, message the convention. Let them know you're interested, because I'm absolutely positively down to travel the world to see all of you. I love it. I love to travel. I love to travel. Don't you? So yeah, man. Right on. Buongiorno to you indeed. Nathaniel Victor super chatted and said, Roger, big fan for a long time. I just donated to say that Shanks really said, little pirate, pipe down. Shutting him up. Thank you very much, Nathaniel. Appreciate that. Jesus Toledo super chatted $65 saying, what if Divine Departure is actually an original attack created by D's people? Roger used it. So Roger, think about this. Maybe Shanks could be a D as well. I mean, it could very well be that Roger taught him Divine Departure, but I also am not against the idea that Shanks could be a D. Because we know Shanks' last name, we can presume Shanks' last name. I shouldn't say we know. We could presume Shanks' last name from Film Red. Because they mentioned it's like Figolando or something. Or Figureland is his last name. So if that's the case, if he's Shanks D. Figolando, maybe? Who knows? I'm not against the idea that Shanks is a D. I think there's cool story potential from that. Yeah. So I'm not against it. I'm not going to say that's not a possibility. I'm going to say, interesting, tucking it in the back of my head, that maybe Shanks is a D, and maybe Divine Departure is an attack specifically meant for people of the D. Interesting. Banuka in a shoe super chatted and said, Kid probably just got Moria'd, meaning that it seems like he's dead, but in actuality, might be coming back in some capacity. I agree. Ozzy Edwards super chatted and said, poor Kid, nice try, but you are not Luffy. Gail super chatted from Iceland, saying, I think it's fun to see the difference between Shanks and Buggy here. Shanks is strong but has a weak fleet, and Buggy is weak but has a strong fleet. At least I imagine that his fleet is strong. Well, of course, yeah. I mean, of course. Buggy's with the Cross Guild. He's got Mihawk and Crocodile and all the people from Impel Down. So, of course, yeah, Buggy does have strong people working with him. I didn't even think about that, though. That it kind of plays on the parallel in both of them being on the ship. You know, Shanks having the weak crew and allied captains, but actually being strong himself and deserving of the title, and Buggy being weak and undeserving of the title, but having really strong captains backing him up. I love that. I love that a lot. I actually didn't even put that together when I was thinking about it, to be honest, but I think that's a really cool thing to note. Andrew Dittman super chatted, still holding on to the top super chat, saying 2 theories that I have about the ship. One is that Law escaped and went towards Luffy. The other is that a new chapter is going to end with the text box, "Zay ha ha ha, room," just like you said, Roger, and Blackbeard using the op fruit. Again, I don't want it to happen, but I'm mentally prepared at this point. I think Oda's done a very good job with these past couple chapters, and honestly with this entire arc in general, of setting my expectations where if that was to happen, I wouldn't be furious, right? I wouldn't be super, super mad, especially because we would definitely see the exact thing of what happened in a flashback if that was the case. But I went through a whole discussion of why I don't think Law is going to have the same fate as Kid a little bit earlier in the stream and during my review portion. So definitely go check that out for sure for my full thoughts on that. But as to if Law escaped and went towards Luffy, I mean, I think that part could definitely be true. I could see him maybe escaping and going towards Luffy. Yeah. Lucky98 super chatted and said, "I'm honestly not too worried about Law either. I don't think Oda would kill such a popular character off screen." Yeah. Also, to be fair, if this really is the end of Kid and Kid dies here and we don't see more of him and he drowns or whatever, this wouldn't be off screen. No one could say they off screened Kid. Oda at the very least said, "Fine, you want to see me kill Kid? I'll show you what Kid looks like dying. Here you go." And that's that. So, at least nobody can say that about Kid. Let's see. Joshua super chatted and said, "Shanks mentioning that he wanted to locate Blackbeard is really interesting to me, because if Blackbeard really shows up on Egghead, then maybe Shanks could come too." True. True. And Bushran super chatted, Bushran, you must be playing Fire Emblem Engage then, if that's your name, saying, "I've never seen Jay happier than when he read this chapter, so please let's have a moment of silence for Captain Mid." Oh my god, dude. You guys are brutal. You're actually brutal. That you could say this about him. "I've never seen Jay happier than when he read this chapter. Let's have a moment of silence for Captain Mid." You guys are terrible. Randall super chatted and said, "I'm no power scaler, but with this feat from Shanks, how do we feel about Mihawk? Maybe if Kid met Mihawk, he likely would have met a similar fate." Interesting. Mega Prime became a member, thank you very much. And, going back to the Shanks and Mihawk thing, because we talked about this relatively recently, I think Shanks and Mihawk are kind of right here. I think Shanks is a little stronger than Mihawk, because he is a Yonko at the end of the day. But I think Mihawk is the strongest swordsman. I think we've talked about this in a different video before. I think the thing is that people don't take into consideration is that Shanks, even though he uses a sword, his primary way of attacking is not through swordplay, it's through his haki. Whereas Mihawk, his primary way of attacking is utilizing and showing off his swordsmanship. So I think that's how Mihawk can have the title of world's greatest swordsman while still being weaker than Shanks. If that makes any sense. Yeah. So I stand by what I said before. I think Shanks is stronger than Mihawk. And yeah, I guess this chapter kind of proves it, because I don't think Mihawk is one-shotting the entirety of the Kid Pirates. I think he's getting close, but I don't think he's doing it. Masterman super chatted and said, "I absolutely love Kid, and I didn't want it to end like this, but when he showed up to Shanks, I assumed he was just going to die, so I've actually been coping for a while now." Yeah, you were not alone. Firefist Sabo super chatted and said, "I can't always believe the narrator box, Roger. You also have to go back and remember in 1043 when it declared Kaido the winner of the fight. It could be a very similar situation. I think the difference was it didn't say the Straw Hat Pirates were destroyed. It just said that Kaido won the fight. There is a difference in the way that the narrator worded it. The narrator always makes things hype, though, honestly." Mike Man Cool super chat. Oh, I already know where this is going. Mike Man Cool super chatted and goes, "Roger, you're capping. This is not one of the best chapters for one reason, because it can't be one of the best chapters without Caribou." Yeah, right. Mike Man Cool coming through as always every single week, pushing that Caribou agenda, coming through with the Caribou super chat. Love to see it. Mike Man Cool. Don't worry, we'll see more of Caribou sometime soon, I'm sure. He's still in that barrel on the ship. Something's gonna happen. Don't you worry about a thing, Mike. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Ozzy Edwards super chatting saying, remember, Roger, a lot of people loved Ace too, and it didn't stop Oda from killing him. Just got to keep that in mind. I think the thing is, Ozzy, by the way, thank you for the $20 donation. I think the difference with Ace is that Ace was literally the plot point of an entire story arc. The entire arc hinged on saving Ace and Ace's death. Whereas Kid's death or Kid's defeat, like, the story can go on without this being resolved. Like, we could see more of the stuff in Elbaf, we could see more of the stuff in Egghead, more of the stuff with Blackbeard, the Cross Guild. The entire story does not hinge on Kid, or even Law, to be fair, because that's how this all came up to begin with. You were talking about Law. I think Law's defeat doesn't necessarily, or wouldn't necessarily be like the pinnacle story point of whenever it happened in the final war. I think it would be a major plot point, but it wouldn't be the thing regarding that arc in the same way that Ace's was. So I think they are a little different. Yeah. Biscuit Beast super chatted and said, Kid and his crew were defenseless. Shanks speed blitzed the ship and used Roger's attack at point blank range. That would have O-code pretty much anyone else. Could be, you know. Put a little respect on his name. I agree. Put a little respect on his name. Invader Shim just donated and said, Pell over Kid? Cap, 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 cap. 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 I know you're kidding, but cap. Thowid super chatted and said, Pururu and Cavendish's connection with the bourgeois pirates and the bourgeois kingdom, maybe? I don't know about all that. I mean, maybe. Maybe. That'd be kind of interesting. Especially considering we don't know how the Bartolomeo Shanks thing wrapped up. Bartolomeo and Cavendish are both members of the Grand Fleet. Maybe there's a connection there between Cavendish and Pururu. That'd be kind of cool. I would like that. In fact, I think that would be really cool, actually, now that I'm thinking about it more. I like the idea that Cavendish and Pururu might have some type of connection. Also, isn't Pururu, one, the name of a character in Sergeant Frog, but two, isn't that also like the Japanese name for Wigglytuff? Because isn't Purin Jigglypuff's name? Purin? And it's like Pururin or something? Or Pururu is Wigglytuff? I could be wrong. Let me know. If somebody speaks Japanese in the chat, let me know. Nate donated and said, could Blackbeard really finish Law and get to Egghead from Winter Island that fast? I couldn't find how close the two islands were, but I feel like it wouldn't necessarily be the case for Blackbeard. So then if that's the case, Nate, who do you think is showing up to the island? Do you think it's Blackbeard or do you think it's Kuzan? Because those seem to be the two prevailing theories in the chat right now. One is Blackbeard, one is Kuzan. I'm not quite sure. Ace super chatted and said, Legendary does not even begin to describe this chapter. 1079 out of 10 chapter. Easily the chapter of the year thus far, and an absolute arc of absolute bangers. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Completely agree. Banuka in a shoe super chatted as well and said, if one person brought it up, Shanks saw it 10 seconds into the future. Like 3 full manga panels into the future. His observation hockey is absolutely insane. Also, chat just brought up that the Japanese name for Wigglytuff is Pukurin and not Pururin. But I was close. And I'm proud of myself for that. So I was close. Next one up. This one comes from Monkey Thief. Super chatting saying, the next time we see Kid, he's going to be completely broken. Throughout the story, he's been beaten down, but he's kept his head high. This is going to be the moment that completely and utterly breaks him. This is his Kurapika moment. Kurapika descended into indescribable sadness. Dun, 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 dun. By the way, last week I rewatched those episodes of York New City with Matt Houston and with Ricky. Those episodes are so good. Hunter x Hunter slaps, man. I love that series. Anyway. Continuing. Moving on. This one comes from John Rui, who says, to be fair to Kaido, he may have been able to one-shot more characters, but he wanted to draw out his fights. I'm not going to give Kaido the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to do it. I don't know why. Do I have an agenda against Kaido? I don't know. Did I do that video way back in 2014, spearheading ZKK, Zoro killing Kaido? Maybe. But I don't think I have an agenda against Kaido. I just think, maybe this is a topic for a different video. I just think Kaido overall underwhelmed for me as a villain. But I've talked about this ad nauseum in regards to Wano Country. I think Kaido was cool, but I think Kaido as a whole, a little underwhelming to me. I don't know. I wish we would have seen more. I wish we'd have seen a full flashback. Unfortunately, we didn't end up getting that because Oda wanted to hold some stuff off for a future Rocks Pirate flashback. I get it. But Kaido, kind of mid. Kind of mid. Zane super chatted. I am so curious to see who's going to take that out of context and think that I'm actually saying Kaido is mid. Zane super chatted and said, my theory is Blackbeard will kill Garp on Egghead. That'll be the part of the incident that shocks the world. Well, that would require Garp looping back around to Egghead. So, I mean, maybe that's the case. Maybe that is actually Blackbeard. He goes to Egghead, Garp gets to full lead, sees it's not, shows up at the end of the incident on Egghead, and Blackbeard kills Garp in front of Luffy. I could see a world in which that happens. It's not out of the realm of possibility, I think. Yeah. Rob Harley super chatted and said, wait a minute. If Blackbeard is at Egghead, then who is Garp going to beat to get Kobe back? Well, I guess that brings up the possibility of, like, if that is Blackbeard, did Blackbeard bring Kobe with him, or did he leave Kobe on full lead and leave one of his Titanic commanders or something to deal with Garp? If that's the case, who do I think he would fight? Maybe Alvaro Pizarro? I could see that being one. Last time we saw him was on full lead. I could see Alvaro. I could also see Burgess. But I also think Burgess has taken L after L during the story arc as well. We saw Burgess doing reconnaissance on the Revolutionary Army Island. We saw Burgess, getting wiped by Sabo. So I don't know. I don't know if Garp beating Burgess would really be that big of a deal. I think it'd be a much bigger deal if we see Garp beating somebody whose power we have not seen yet. Yeah. But that's my take. I don't know, Rob. Who do you think Garp would fight to save Kobe? Let me know in the comments down below. Matthew Cook super chatted and said, dude, that is awesome that you're coming to Italy, but I actually live in Lucca, Tuscany. How can I get you sponsored to come to Lucca Comic-Con? It is the third biggest Comic-Con in the world. Best way, and this goes for everybody who's watching the stream right now, best way to get me to come to your local convention is email. There's normally like a contact sheet on the website for the conventions. Email the convention with links to my social media, telling them what I do and why you'd want them to come to the convention. And then usually they'll reach out to me, they'll hit up my business email, they'll hit up my media email, and they'll be like, hey, we noticed there are people in our town that want you to come to the convention. We would love for you to be a guest at the convention. So the best way is send an email to your local convention and let them know you want RogersBase to show up. And the more people who demand me to show up, the more likely it is that I end up going to that convention. So, yeah. That's the best thing I think you could do. Tweet at them, send messages to them, because again, I would love to come to Tuscany. I mean, are you kidding me? I'm not going to be in Tuscany when I'm there. Like I said, I'm going to be on the Amalfi Coast, Positano and all that kind of stuff. But look, I'm not against going back to Italy. My last name is DiLuigi, okay? I got to go back to my homeland every once in a while. So, Invader Shim donated twice, saying, Pell over kid, Pell tanked the nuke, and kid can't even stop a sword slash. I know you read it off earlier, but it had to be said. Invader Shim coming through with the hot takes. MSU super chatted and said, Boa got saved by Rayleigh earlier on, remember, so I do think that she is safe from Blackbeard. That is also true. That is true. Boa did get, I keep forgetting that, yeah, Rayleigh saved Boa, and that was how we found out the thing was Shaggy. You're right. How did I forget that? You're totally right. Thank you for reminding me of that. See, this is why I do these live, because then if I forget something, you guys can tell me. Too Athletic super chatted and said, if that is Blackbeard arriving, doesn't he still have Pudding as hostage? That could potentially bring Katakuri into the picture to potentially save her and could bring Katakuri to Egghead Island. Okay, let the man cook. I like the idea that Katakuri comes to save Pudding, that Blackbeard would bring Pudding as his hostage with him. We can get a reuniting of Sanji and Pudding. I don't hate that idea. I like that idea a lot, actually. I think that could be really, really cool. Yeah. Banuka in a shoe super chatted again and said, by the way, I can't remember what happened to Jack. Hashtag Mammoth for the red-haired pirates. Jack, I think Jack's down for the count, unfortunately. As much as we're the Mammoth boys, and we love Jack the Drought, Jack the Drag Down, Lack the Drag Down, whatever you want to call him, I think he's done for the time being. Meanwhile, massive donation, bringing the pizza hype from Wow Fell with a $250 donation saying, do you think Blackbeard might kill Shanks or is he too OP? There's a lot of Shanks death flag theories going around right now. I completely think that there's a possibility that Blackbeard kills Shanks in a moment of weakness late into the story. You know, again, I still think Blackbeard is the one that gave Shanks the scar. And I think, you know, we've seen that Blackbeard and his crew are over-reliant on devil fruits. And we're seeing now here that Shanks and his crew, you know, they have a lot of hockey. So I feel like the clash is inevitable between Shanks' crew and Blackbeard's crew with the devil fruit powers versus the hockey powers and which one is stronger. I also see a situation in which Blackbeard does like a dirty tactic to kill Shanks, right? Where Shanks maybe has a fight with another character, is kind of wiped, is getting kind of tired, is being taken on by a lot of other characters, and kind of swoops in last minute. I mean, similar to what happened with Whitebeard, right? We saw this happen already with Blackbeard in Marineford, where he swoops in at the end of all of it after Whitebeard had half of his face blown off by Akainu, after he got all those bullets and swords thrown into him and all this stuff. Blackbeard's whole thing is he's a vulture, right? He shows up after the battle is already done, swoops in and takes the power of the person or kills the person. I could see a situation in which a war happens, Shanks, you know, takes a lot of damage, is worn out, is tired, and then he swoops in for the kill in the final moment and takes out Shanks. I do see a situation in which that happens. Do I want it to happen? Not necessarily. I love Shanks. But I think thematically for the story, it would make a lot of sense for Luffy and Blackbeard to be the last two standing. With Buggy and the Cross-Guild stuff kind of being resolved by the portion of the story in which we would get Luffy and Blackbeard. Again, though, things change constantly. I feel like it changes chapter to chapter. I think there's a world in which Emu could be final villain. There's a world in which Blackbeard could be final villain. There's potentially a world in which Shanks could be final villain. I mean, there's a world in which Akainu could be final villain. There's a lot of ways in which Oda could set up the story, and it really is just dependent on how he wants to write it and what matchups he wants, you know, leading into this final war of the series. So yeah, I do think there is a world in which Shanks could lose to Blackbeard, but I think if it does happen, I think it's going to be by an underhanded, dirty kind of tactic, and I certainly think that Shanks is stronger than Blackbeard, no doubt about it. I mean, I think of the current Yonko, removing Buggy from the equation, I think Blackbeard is probably weaker than Luffy, currently. You know, that goes to show he could have another Devil Fruit power. He could have some other latent power within his Devil Fruit. His Devil Fruit could be like Luffy's Devil Fruit and actually secretly be a mythical zone. We don't know. There's a lot of things Oda could do with that story. But right now, thinking about it, if Luffy right now, with the knowledge that we have about him, fought Blackbeard right now with the knowledge we have about him one-on-one, I see Luffy beating Blackbeard. I do. I think the Nika Nika no Mi, the Nika Nika fruit, the power is just too strong. I think, being called the most ridiculous power in the world, him having protagonist powers, plot armor, I would see a situation in which Luffy would win. Yeah. Ooh, Raijin just donated with a really great idea. Raijin said maybe this is the showdown in which we get Zoro versus Shiyu, and that Shiyu is potentially on the ship of the Blackbeard pirates making his way to Egghead Island. That would be awesome. I would love that. Because then we need to see Zoro versus Shiyu before Zoro versus Mihawk. Mihawk is Zoro's final opponent, bar none. It's gotta be. It's going to be Mihawk. It has to be. World's greatest swordsman. If he beats Mihawk, he becomes the world's greatest swordsman. He achieves his goal. So I really like the idea that Shiyu is actually on his way here, and Zoro versus Shiyu gets out of the way now, and maybe news gets spread throughout the rest of the world that Zoro, the first mate of Luffy, right, took down the former head jailer of Impel Down, who helped to spearhead, you know, all these other things within Blackbeard's crew, takes him down, he gets another bounty jump, we get that fight out of the way. I actually really like that. I think this now could be a really good time in the story to have that happen. I agree. And finally, one last super chat. This one comes from 2TapKD, super chatting saying, someone with a 3 billion berry bounty just couldn't be one-shotted. The Shanks power creep is absolutely insane, says 2TapKD. Is it though? Because again, I feel like, and I brought this up previously, I think Law, Kid, and Luffy all getting the 3 billion berry bounty thing could have been for the government's way of hiding what Luffy truly is, right? Hiding that he is actually Joy Boy. And by having all of them at the same bounty, it's reflective of all of them coming into the world and stepping out as one of the supernovas at the same time during Sabaody, and 2, concealing to the rest of the world what Luffy truly is. Because Luffy is still considered a Yonko, and yet he has the same bounty as Law and Kid. Something's being concealed there. And I certainly think Luffy is on another level from Law, despite how much I'm a fanboy. And I even think Law, and I've said this before, was on another level above Kid. I think Kid was the weakest of the 3. Wouldn't be shocked if he goes out this way. But again, I'm not going to say, oh, Captain Mid, whatever, all this other stuff. I will put some respect on his name. I will put some respect on Kid's name. He did his job in you know, the roof piece. He did his job in the fight against Big Mom. And now might just be his time to go. And that's that. So I'm going to salute you, Captain Mid. Thank you for your service. If you're actually going out like this, I'm fine with it. If you're not, I hope to see you again soon. I wish I had my soundboard hooked up, but I just got back from Vegas. I don't have my soundboard. I would have played the Metal Gear music and I would have saluted you. But Kid, thank you for your service. Appreciate it. I think your time is done now. So, thank you once again to everybody who tuned into the stream. Greatly appreciate it. I want to give one last shout out to the members, because there were a lot of members on the stream. Also, one quick thing I want to say at the very ending. I saw there were a lot of people who were going, Roger, where's the Discord server? Why can't I see the Discord server? I messed up. I messed up greatly. When I was in Vegas, I was testing on my laptop to see if I can get some work done, sort of in the lead up to Italy, because I have some videos that are going to go up when I'm out of town and other things like that. And I was resetting membership tiers, because I saw there was an influx of people who were joining at the 199 tier and like trying to send spoilers and stuff, and I was being alerted of it. And so I was like, look, I don't want any part of that. So what I did, because I was hyped for this chapter, I eliminated the 199 tier. It's gone now. It's just the 499 tier, the 999 tier, and then the Club Mammoth tier. I got rid of all the other tiers. That way I'm like, look, there won't be any bad actors. I won't be spoiled on stuff. It'll be that. The problem is when I did that, the Discord server was linked to my membership tiers directly. And so when I deleted the membership tier, it deleted the server, which I don't know how it happened. I don't know what permission that I had. I think it was probably a problem with my authentication after the hack where I had certain things linked. I don't know what happened, but the server got deleted, which was wild because I was literally talking in it the night before, talking about Fire Emblem and a whole bunch of other stuff with my members and trolls and all kinds of stuff. And I was talking, and then literally it was deleted when I woke up. But it wasn't when I woke up. It was, I started working when I woke up, deleted it, and then when I went to go check my Discord, I deleted it because of the membership thing. So that's where the Discord is. Don't worry, the Discord is indeed coming back. One of my mods, Queen, she's currently working on it. It's coming back. You're good to go. It's going to be bigger and better than ever. And actually, I'm going to have a video talking about it and showing off some new features of the server, because this new thing that I'm doing in the server is I'm going to have a stream room in which people who are part of the server can live chat with each other while I'm streaming, and then I can hop into the room and talk with people, like when I'm doing a live stream, like actually have discussions with people. I think it'd be really cool. There's a whole new highlight portion of the server where people can recommend timestamps, recommend clips, make GIFs, all this kind of stuff. So it's gonna be really, really cool when it's back. The only problem is it's gonna take a little bit of time because it's no longer synced directly with YouTube, so it can't be accidentally deleted again. It's now just like a regular standalone server, and Queen has to put all her stuff in place to actually fix it. But don't worry about a thing. The server is indeed coming back. Don't worry, it will be back. just stay tuned. There will be a link on the membership tier and on the membership page talking about it and a community post about it. And additionally, I'm sorry for all the people who were part of the $199 tier, but unfortunately it is what it is. I didn't want to deal with spoilers, especially now that we're into the end of One Piece and people were just joining for the sole purpose of doing it. I think we're going back to how it was. It was always at the $4.99 tier anyway. That's how we started. And so that's what we're going back to. I think it's a good way to go about it. I understand some people then can't become members, but that's totally okay. You guys being here live with me is enough. You don't need to be a member. I say this time and time again. I'm going to repeat it ad nauseum because I really mean it. You guys showing up, leaving a like on my videos, subscribing to the channel, leaving comments, that's enough. You never should feel obligated, nor do I ever want you to feel obligated to become a member, to become a donator, nothing like that. You guys being here is enough. You like the streams, you watch the videos, that is enough for me. Just knowing that someone is out there watching me, I greatly appreciate it. And I've said this before, but I mean to say it again. Do not take the elimination of that bottom tier as, oh, well, what the heck, he's trying to hike up the prices. No, 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 no. That's not it. That's not it. I literally just don't want you to become a member if it's at all a burden to you financially. I don't want you to do it. Please don't. Enjoy the streams as they are. Subscribers, you know, can still comment on everything, watch everything. Nothing's getting locked behind it. So do what you got to do. You know, like the videos. I appreciate you all being here in the first place. So, yeah. So I wanted to get all those tiers out of the way and explain what happened with the Discord as well. So, yeah. Ozzy said, I just wish that content creators would stop putting spoilers in their thumbnails. Well, again, look, I'm not putting spoilers in my thumbnails. I'm good to go. I got James making my thumbnails for me, and I'm actually going to be testing the waters with something. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to crop out my review portions of my streams and upload them separately. So then that way, people who just want to watch the reviews can watch my reviews and don't have to scrub through the whole stream. But then if you want to watch the whole stream in entirety, it's there for you as well. So you basically got 2 videos on Sundays. So thank you once again, everybody. Greatly appreciate you all being here. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye, everybody. And shout out once again to all the members. You guys are absolute, positive goats. You're all the best. Love you all. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow with, I don't know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I know I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, but I don't know what exactly I'm going to be streaming. Maybe some Haikyuu? We'll see. I'm not quite sure. And then Tuesday is going to be more Genshin. So if you were waiting for Genshin, we're doing Genshin Tuesday. Tuesday evening, we're also going to be doing Pokemon TCG openings on Twitch. So look forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I got a lot of stuff honestly planned. Also, oh, this upcoming Sunday. Wait. This upcoming Sunday. Wait, one thing. I have a really cool collab stream coming up this upcoming Sunday. Jay, King of Lightning, Brago, me, Matt Owens, Hunter x Hunter versus Yu Yu Hakusho. Obviously, it's a break week. We're not going to have a chapter next week, but be here. It's going to be a good stream.